And just for my final slide, I thought I'd run through a couple of most of the issues that you get for certain expenses when you're looking at getting your qualifying expenditure. So, documentation of expenses. Obviously, this is, you're putting in a tax return. You've got to be able to document all your expenses. You're going to go through an audit process. Documentation of expenses is quite important. From the accounting point of view, you need a lot of detail in your general ledger so Screen Australia can actually determine the nature of the expense. So, for example, you can't just go out and your general ledger say, I gave the production designer $1,000 and they spent $1,000, there's $1,000. You actually have to itemise all expenses. So you need the level of detail where you're actually going, I bought a jumper for the character Clarence on the 23rd of June and things like that. So you actually, and this is where a lot of the accounting work goes on, is the level of documentation required is probably a lot higher than normal, because Screen Australia basically have to review the ledger and when they're looking for non-QAPE items, because they're not going to go back to every single source document. So you need a very high level of description in your general ledger. And obviously when money's going out to people for petty cash and coming back in, quite often that process needs to be in place so that you capture as much information as you can, so that Screen Australia, when they're doing a review, and basically you'll just slow down the whole process if you don't have a great level of documentation, because Screen Australia will come back and go, what's this, I need more information. So the more information you can put into your general ledger, the better. You have to have a general ledger to go in for producer's offset. It's one of the requirements, so you can't just duck in with an Excel spreadsheet or anything like that. It is a requirement that you submit a general ledger.